Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Some massive dominoes falling in the transfer portal as Riley Leonard, star Duke quarterback, has entered the transfer portal. But not only has Riley Leonard entered the transfer portal, there's a lot of buzz and a lot of talk about Riley Leonard ending up at Notre Dame. And I'll start with this, a very similar conversation that we had 12 months ago with Sam Hartman entering the transfer portal. I would presume and say that Riley Leonard might even bring a little bit more juice to the quarterback position than Sam Hartman did. And this is coming from a massive Sam Hartman fan. I went to Wake Forest, watched a lot of Wake Forest football, absolutely love Sam Hartman. What Riley Leonard brings, though, at 6'4", at 215 pounds, his ability to extend plays outside the pocket, I think Notre Dame fans have a lot to be excited for. Now, this is still a story that's developing. We'll be obviously talking about it if it does become official, but wanted to hop on and talk about the ramifications for Riley Leonard heading to Notre Dame. Before we get into it, just want to say appreciate you guys. A shout out to the Notre Dame fans. Again, this is one of the biggest stories that we've seen in the transfer portal thus far. If it does become official, we'll hop back on and talk about those ramifications and what this Notre Dame offense looks like. But do want to dive into what Riley Leonard brings to the table and what this Notre Dame offense is going to look like with Riley Leonard at the helm. Without further ado, let's get into it. And I want to go back to the 2022 year with Riley Leonard when he was fully healthy. This last year, he was gutted through a high ankle sprain that obviously happened during that Notre Dame game. We all got a feel of the playmaking that Riley Leonard had at Duke. What's most exciting about Riley Leonard is he's going from a Duke offense that not very explosive, didn't really kind of come out of its shell much, to a Notre Dame offense that you look at the young talent that's on this Notre Dame team, whether it's a guy like Jeremiah Love in the backfield or Jaden Greathouse or Rico Flores. This is a Notre Dame offense that I think has the capability to be a much more explosive offense than he had at Duke. But Riley Leonard himself, I think, is a quarterback that can kind of take over a game, not only with his arm talent, but with his athleticism as well. This is kind of the reason Riley Leonard heading into this year was one of my favorite quarterbacks in the ACC. You take a look at his numbers from 2022. Last time he was fully healthy, 2,900 passing yards, 20 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions. That's the first thing you're looking for. Can you take care of the football? Obviously, Sam Hartman and some of the turnovers that led to Notre Dame not winning some games on their schedule in 2023. Riley Leonard, very good at taking care of the ball. But here's what I love most about Riley Leonard. 700 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns. This is a guy that's a load to bring down. And you kind of just get the sense that Riley Leonard is a gamer. He's a guy that's going to move the chains any way possible, whether it looks pretty, whether it doesn't look pretty. He's a guy that when the play needs to be made, Riley Leonard absolutely going to make it. And to get into what this looks like for Notre Dame and the future of that quarterback room, I think this is a really smart move, right? You bring in a veteran quarterback who's played a ton of football. He's going into his 4th year of college football. And who else do you have coming into that quarterback room starting in the winter, in January? You got the top 50 national prospect, CJ Carr. And I don't think there's a better situation than CJ Carr coming in, sitting behind Riley Leonard, one of the more experienced and prolific quarterbacks that we see across the country for a year. Riley Leonard graduates, goes to the NFL, and you have CJ Carr going into his 2nd year, learn behind Riley Leonard. You look at the quarterback position and the quarterback runway for Notre Dame, I think it's extremely exciting. And you, as much as the quarterback play has been a problem for Notre Dame in the past, Sam Hartman, then Riley Leonard, then ideally CJ Carr after that. You're starting to get a good feel of Marcus Freeman kind of stacking some quarterbacks within this Notre Dame program. And that's really exciting if you're a Notre Dame fan. And on top of that, again, we talked about it, the offensive firepower that's young and youthful that can develop with Riley Leonard, going to guys like Jaden Greathouse, Rico Flores, Jeremiah Love. This is an offense that I think is going to be really fun to watch over the next couple of years, whether it's Riley Leonard, whether it's CJ Carr. We'll talk more about this if it does become official, but did want to hop on, talk a little bit about Riley Leonard, the rumors of him going to Notre Dame. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. Again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.